Is it possible to read somebody's mind over the internet? Hi, Anthony here, and I'm going to be joining you a little bit later on today to play some mind games. It's going to be an interactive, fun session. You're going to need pens, you're going to need paper, and you never know, you might even need your tinfoil hat. I can't wait to share my show, Virtually Impossible, with you a little bit later on. I'll see you shortly.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It feels like deja vu that we're doing this all over again online and having to present to you all for our AGM online. I'm hoping that everybody is actually well, and I'd like to welcome you this morning. I'd also like to do our acknowledgement for country. So I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all meet and work today, and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people participating in our AGM. I'm hoping that everybody, as I said, has been well, and we're looking forward to some fun today for our meeting and some information, obviously, and just hoping that everybody stays with us for the whole session. We are planning to now have a little break after our sponsor presentations just to let you stretch your legs. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Secretary, Karen Marnie, to give her report.
Hello, everyone. You should have all received the previous AGM minutes for 2020. I would like to propose that the minutes of the BMV Annual General Meeting held on the 26th of October 2020 as presented via email to all members are a fair and accurate representation of proceedings. Can I please have someone that was at the meeting to second the minutes? Can you please put your name in the discussion forum to second these minutes? Thank you. I would now like to introduce Gabe Windsor to present the Treasurer's report. Oh, sorry. I would now like to introduce Bronwyn to present the President's report.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm very aware this morning that there's quite a few schools that are struggling with COVID restrictions, so we're going to try and move this along quite quickly for you. There's lots of schools closed, and I know there are business managers that have tested positive to COVID, so I hope you all recover quickly. I did hope that 2021 would not be like 2020, where we had to learn new ways to communicate with our communities and family. Unfortunately, it became worse. We are working our way through the roadmap, and I do hope that 2022 we become a safer place to work and live. Communication has been challenging to say the least, especially when new things are introduced in our role as business managers. New programs such as the tutor program and policy updates such as the parent payment policy have seen us work through issues in schools that only business managers understand. Funding is a major issue, but the operations of procedures and school business administration was left to be managed by the ones that understand what is required to implement these changes. The focus is usually on the curriculum delivery, but there is far more system management that goes on behind the scenes before the curriculum can be delivered. We were fortunate this year to have our annual leadership conference that was postponed from 2020. We were lucky with our timing. With our restrictions, we still had 300 delegates attend, and we were lucky to have our valued partners and sponsors at the event. It was a little bit different, but a great success. We have several programs on hold at the moment. The Mentor program has had 3 of the 4 completed. The ES Relief program from 2020 had been postponed, but restarted in second term this year. Last graduation of 5 participants that managed to complete both the virtual training with the department and their work experience hours. And there's still some more girls out there waiting to complete their hours. I've applied to Financial Services Division to continue this ES Relief program in 2022, and I've had initial confirmation that the program will be continuing. We're hoping to use the training centres at Coburg, Parkmore, Geelong and Ballarat. I'm just waiting to hear what the next steps will be in this new virtual learning space and hub meeting program. Our Leadership Day was due to be held in September, but this has also been postponed until 2022 so we can have a face-to-face meeting. We will continue with these events when we know that is possible. I currently represent the BMV on 17 deep working parties. I've listed these in my report, but I'm not going to read them all out to you. But I'd just like to mention one. The most challenging and thought-provoking has been working with the Gender Equality Group on the Deep Gender Equality Action Plan. It has opened my mind and my eyes to acknowledge the changing world we live in. What was acceptable when I started working is no longer acceptable, and nor should it be. The role of business manager has been female-dominated for as long as I can remember. It has never been a requirement of our role to have a university degree, but I think we have earned a degree in the role that we manage every day. It is your knowledge, your capacity, and your that makes us successful in the business world. But we still have inequality, not necessarily all to gender, but in the role that we have in schools. Why is it that the lowest paid employees in state government schools are females? Why is the role of school business manager predominantly female? Some questions to ponder. I am optimistic that 2022 will allow us to continue to provide professional learning opportunities and valuable programs without too much disruption. I might even be able to attend a face-to-face meeting somewhere in the department. I look forward to being able to meet with the networks and attend regional meetings again. Our membership renewals will be going out very soon for 2022, and there's no change in the cost. We have had a lot of retirements in the past 12 months, and we have welcomed a lot of new members in their place. Our committee has continued to work together on the virtual platform and have managed to rearrange many cancelled meetings and conferences. I would like to thank the committee and our valuable office ladies, Sonia and Samara, for their continued work and support of our association. I would like to take the opportunity now to acknowledge two members of the BMV committee. Jane Cooper has advised us that she will be stepping down after serving on this committee since 2007. Jane is currently Vice President Secretary on our Executive Committee. I'm sure you would all join me in thanking Jane for her support of our association and members over many years, and we wish you all the best for next year and leading into retirement. Gabe Windsor has also advised that she will be stepping off the committee after 10 years of representing the BMV. Gabe is currently a member of the Executive Committee as Treasurer of the BMV. Gabe is also our PD convener and has worked with Jane over many years to present outstanding annual leadership conferences and meetings. Thank you, Gabe and Jane. We will miss you both. Alison Galloway has also announced her retirement, both from full-time work and our committee, and we wish her all the best. Thank you to Pam Blackburn, Julie Rogers and Rebecca Russell, who also stepped off our committee. I would like to thank all the members that nominated to become a part of our 2022 committee, and I look forward to meeting with you. Karen, our secretary, will announce the successful members further in the AGM. So to finish, I wish everybody all the best as we see out term for 2021. I hope it's not too stressful, but I think I'm dreaming. It's always stressful in term 4. Thanks again for joining us today. And I now hand over to Karen to continue our AGM and Gabe to present our Treasurer's report. Thank you.
Great, thanks very much. And thanks for those kind words too, Brom, that's lovely. Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased to be seeing you again, albeit online, although we do understand this is unavoidable. So thank you for joining us. Look, regardless of how we meet, whether we meet face-to-face or online, BMV continues its commitment to you. We want to increase and strengthen our financial position to build a sustainable organisation that will expand on the professional learning and support we offer each of our members. After a short time where we were able to be working at our BMV headquarters in Queen's Road, we are again working remotely and hope to be back there soon. So once again, the photos through today's presentation are taken from our BMV office space, which is Suite 904 in the St Kilda Road Towers, Queen's Road, Melbourne. Okay, so the BMV balance sheet was sent to all members last week, outlining our assets and liabilities for the year ending June 30, 2021. We do this to provide you with the opportunity to go over the report prior to this meeting and raise any queries that you may have. The June 30, 2021 balance sheet reflects the following. Total assets, $636,272.80. Our total liabilities, $7,851.43. As a result, when comparing our balance sheet detail from last reported December 2020 to end of June 2021, our net assets have decreased by $117,700. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail. When we're comparing our balance sheet December 2020 to June 2021, our total assets decreased by $149,573. Our total cash on hand decreased by $17,393. The decrease was due to various factors, including the BMV contribution to our conference costs. There was an increase in hours for admin salary, updated our BMV phone, and we had some minor repairs to the office space. The conference working account decreased by $64,527, and our trade debtors decreased by $67,653. Both of these decreased since the revenue from 2020 was carried forward to the conference that we could actually hold this year and is now expended. So how lucky were we to be able to hold the conference on site this year? Total liabilities decreased by $31,819, and that was made up of a total GST liabilities decreasing by $31,087, and our total payroll liabilities decreased by $732. So as a result, our net assets have decreased by $117,754 from December 2020 to the end of June this year. So looking forward, what is our future focus? As Brom mentioned, our mentor program, we've been really pleased to once again have offered the mentor program this year, albeit a different format and with COVID partially presented online. The great news is that the online content has the ability to be offered to a greater cohort than the small number of pairings we do normally each year. So we'll continue to refine this program and look at offering it again next year. Our statewide general meeting for March 2022, we currently have a credit of $6,175 held with Sofitel, and this is a carried forward over partial deposit from the 2020 SGM, which was cancelled. And as you remember, our 2021 SGM was held within our conference this year. The Sofitel are holding this credit towards our 2022 March SGM, and we look forward to hopefully holding that meeting again face-to-face with you. We want to still build relationships. We have continued support from our business partners, the School Photographer, Bank First, PSW, Camp Australia, Vic Super, Aware Super. But we will continue sourcing new business partners that will work with and for our members to provide financial benefits that enable us to continue ongoing offerings for you. And like we said, continued professional learning. We are a proudly financially independent association and growing in numbers with 914 members currently. We understand the frustration behind the past 2 years of limited offerings and cancellations that COVID has brought us. We are excited for the future and we really look forward to increasing the professional learning opportunities for each of you, and really we want to do that face to face. So then the motion for the Treasurer's report is that I move that the BMV Treasurer's report presented today be accepted as a true and correct depiction of BMV financial position for the end of month June 2021. I'll move that motion. I do need a seconder. And just as we did with the Secretary's report, could we please just have someone enter their name and school in the discussion forum as a seconder for that motion, please. And unfortunately, that's what we have to do with this online forum. So thank you. That concludes my Treasurer's report. I'd like to introduce Jane Coopers to join the main stage with me now. And we're proudly PD conveners for the association, and we're going to provide you with your PD report next. Welcome, Jane. Thank you. And as Brom just said, Jane and I are PD conveners for BMV and have proudly undertaken this role together for many years It is with a little sadness that we advise today that this will be our last report to you since we're both leaving the committee this year. Over to you, Jane.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you. I also would like to say thank you, Bronwyn, for those lovely words. And all I can say is to start with, I've loved being on the BMV committee and I've loved doing the conference. If anyone is interested in this sort of thing, please think of it for years to come. So to start with, 2022 plans. Well, it's been unusual and unprecedented year again. With the loss of our regular face-to-face learning opportunities, we have adapted to other forms of meetings, as is we have today, and now need to offer alternatives to our professional learning. Today, Gabe and I will be providing you with an overview of our 2022 plans and offerings. These will include a leadership conference, and we're crossing our fingers it will have to be face-to-face because we need to see each other. Our mentor program, interview workshops, ES Relief Program, and our Leadership Day.
Okay, so a BMV conference for 2022. It's our intention that our 2022 Leadership Conference will return to the Pullman Mercure in Melbourne Albert Park. All going to plan. Our conference dates will be May 4th to 6th in 2022. With the changing environment we have endured over the past 2 years, we believe it's imperative we have a focus on improved wellbeing and emotional intelligence, understanding personality types, and learning communication tools that will carry us through to whatever the next phase in schools brings us. This theme will continue for sessions and masterclasses on offer at our Leadership Conference under the banner Celebrate, Connect and Create.
We are still in the process of finalising our conference sessions, but we have secured some very successful and highly motivated speakers for 2022. Our masterclasses include Lynn Chanella. This will be a fascinating emotional intelligence session. You may remember Lynn from she's been a trainer, facilitator, conference speaker, and a founder of the Fruit Personality Profiling tool, on which she has trained thousands of people on how to work with their strengths and challenges of being an apple, a mango, a lime, or a banana, and me being a banana. Catherine Burkett, Unlock Your Brain. The information session she will share with you is to enlighten you about yourself and those around you. Catherine will unpack the stress response and our neurobiological reactions to our environment in a way that will have you saying, oh my goodness, that finally makes sense. She is brilliant. I've heard her speak and you will love her. Anthony Lay, Conscious Communication, the Power of Human Connection. Anthony's mission is to inspire the power in you and demonstrate the importance of becoming a conscious communicator. Whilst we will enjoy a short version of Anthony's sessions during today's session, we will receive a full powerful masterclass face-to-face at the conference. June Weir from Merit Protection Board. She's such an inspirational speaker. We have engaged her and undertake a session. We're still working on the content for that one. The Deep Masterclasses, yet to be finalised, but they will include the Integrity Program, which is a new program, Speak Up, as well as bringing us up to date with information on fraud and privacy. We will have a dedicated networking time allocated to you. We understand the importance of reconnecting after several years, and we haven't had many opportunities, and we're hoping to have more at the conference. Full details will be confirmed later. Thank you.
Well, all the important details. So the Gala Dinner theme for 2022 is a fun and vibrant affair. We're calling it Las Vegas. After the year we've had, let's celebrate and reconnect. The evening will be filled with all the fun, excitement and colour of a dazzling night in the City of Lights, Las Vegas. Of course, it's optional, but please have fun with it if you feel like it. We're excited for a face-to-face conference again to be held at the Pullman Mercure Albert Park and can't wait to see you there. Once again, we'll be offering the small school scholarships for 2022. Our BMV committee members will be dedicated to ensuring all new members and first timers to conference will be welcomed and included in the event. And obviously registrations will open soon. And of course, we will provide you with further details once all conference details are confirmed.
Other professional earning on offer will include the mentor program. The annual program will continue into 2022. We are reconsidering the method of delivering it as numbers are changing, and we're trying to get more in. It may be a mixture of online content and face-to-face encounters as we did this year. This could benefit members spending less time out of school. Full details and application process will be forwarded to members once finalised. The interview skills workshop. This planning commenced late last year and will continue. A working party has been created to establish a pool of experienced business managers who are willing to assist other business managers with their interview skills and range reviews. A great resource that will assist experienced business managers who are seeking a career move but do not have the confidence or self-belief in their ability. Details to be forwarded once the program is delivered, and it will be determined. Our Leadership Day and ES Relief Program. Although not yet determined in full, we wanted to advise that these two programs will continue to be offered, and I think Bronwyn has already touched on this, and we're hoping that they will be face-to-face. We have booked Lynn Chanella with the personality profiling tool for this year's Leadership Day, although that was cancelled. Therefore, we are having her join us at the conference, and it will be determined what we will do for our Leadership Day after that. Further details regarding both these programs will come out to you later.
Great. Thanks. Well, that brings us to the end of our PD Conveners report. We appreciate our members for continuing to value their own personal professional learning. Although we've had to reimagine some of this delivery, BMV will always strive to add value and build your leadership capacity. Our Committee of Management look forward to seeing you involved in these offerings next year. So on a personal note, thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed and I've been completely honoured to be a part of the BMV committee. And as Jane had said, I would definitely advise anyone that's interested in joining committee, please do so. It's extremely rewarding and thoroughly enjoyed it. And thanks, Jane, for all the work we've done together. I've thoroughly enjoyed that too.
It has been fun, and as we say, we've enjoyed it. But I think both Gabe and I will enjoy next year's conference because we can sit back and enjoy ourselves. And thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would now like to congratulate and welcome the following people who were successful in obtaining a position on the BMV committee. Nancy Sandilands, Vice President Secondary, Melinda Williams, Treasurer, Karen Marnie, Secretary, Teresa Jarvis, Committee Member, Sarah Burns, Committee Member, Rachel Edwards, Committee Member, Marilyn Hammond, Committee Member, Carolyn O'Rourke, Committee Member, Abby Macon, Committee Member, Jan Kosmicki, Committee Member. I would now like to reintroduce Jane Coopers to announce the BMV Life Member nomination. Thank you.
Yes, this is an actual real pleasure for me to be able to do this today. I would like to nominate Denise Sadler, and Tracy Smith has been seconder of this. Denise Sadler to be nominated for life membership of the BMV. I'd just like to read out a little bit of Denise's background and why I think this is really important. Denise has been a business manager in the Victorian State Schools for over 30 years and has shown exemplary leadership skills. She has been a mentor to many up-and-coming business managers, me included. And as a well-respected member in schools, which she has worked, and she's worked in a number of schools. She has been involved in many committees and working parties within DEET, giving her vast knowledge to improve systems within the school environment. After spending many years on the BMV committee, she became president in 2017 and led the association to great heights with our numbers just exploding. She was instrumental in leading the change of the name of our association from ABMVSS to BMV, which was really welcomed by all. Her contribution has been second to none, and she is highly respected by her peers. As a friend and colleague, I have the utmost pleasure of nominating Denise for this life membership of the BMV. Now, because we won't be able to have a show of hands or anything, what we were hoping that we will pass this unless there is a huge amount of objections to this. If you do have an objection, if you could provide that objection to Karen Marnie. If there are a lot, we will have to go back to the drawing board. If not, it will be passed that we will nominate Denise for this life membership. Thank you. I now have to pass. We're going to have a short message from our sponsors.
Hello. As some of you may know, my name is Adrian from Bank First. I'd firstly like to say that Bank First acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples from other communities watching this as well. Whilst I'm absolutely thrilled to be invited to speak at the AGM today, it did really make me pause and reflect on how lucky we were to have the chance to reconnect in person earlier this year after such a long time without any networking and professional development opportunities. I think that the balancing act theme of the conference has really been perpetuated throughout the year, and it really is so fitting that it was the Business Managers Victoria Conference Committee who were able to organise one of the only in-person events to go ahead this year. A highlight for so many of us, I'm sure. Whether in person or via a screen, Bank First is really proud to continue our partnership with Business Managers Victoria, following a long and important tradition of supporting caring communities through partnerships, sponsorships, awards and grants. It is relationships like ours with business managers that inspires us to sponsor and support a wide range of events and programs that give back to the education communities that support us, and why we're always so excited to connect with education support staff in schools. Throughout this term, your Bank First relationship officers will continue to make contact with you to organise virtual school visits and provide opportunities for you and your staff to connect with them directly as we continue to try and to develop and adapt to this constantly changing environment. We'd like to take the opportunity now to thank you for your support and helping us to provide a service that meets the needs of you and our members. It really does mean a lot to us. Whilst I don't want to wish away Term 4 too quickly, given how incredibly grateful, relieved and absolutely overjoyed my wife and I are that you'll be able to accept our 4 boys back into the school ground soon, I do hope that you enjoy the final term of the year, enjoy a well-deserved break at the end of it, and really hope that we can catch up in person very soon. Thank you.
Hi, Will from Vic Super here. As a proud partner of Business Managers Victoria, I just want to take a few moments to acknowledge the importance of this ongoing relationship. With over 60,000 members in Victoria across the public education sector, the BMV plays a crucial role in helping us not only communicate and link in with these members, but to also get a better understanding of what is going on in your world. As I'm sure has been said many times before, the past 18 months or so has been tough on us all. No less so on the important, difficult, yet amazing role that you've all undertaken through this time. It has at times been difficult to do anything other than focus on the day-to-day, and planning for the future may seem like a bit of a pipe dream. We're all looking forward to getting out a bit more, and if you're anything like me, getting to spend times with family and friends and getting back to things we love to do. In my family, we've even started to make plans for this Christmas. As the industry super fund for public education Victoria, we are still here in looking after our members' retirement planning and helping to guide them through to a better future. So we are looking forward to getting back out next year and seeing you all and supporting you and your staff, whether they're at the start of their career or contemplating retirement. So again, on behalf of Vic Super, thank you and see you all soon.
Hi, my name's Carly Fountain. I'm a partnership manager at Camp Australia. Both James Rushmere and myself are delighted to be here today at the BMV AGM. The video that we're about to show you is from our CEO, Warren Jacobson. It reflects on the year that was and also talks about some initiatives that Camp Australia has been able to launch during this challenging time. One of those being our Insight series. And while the video refers to principles, we're showcasing this today because the content is also very relevant for business managers. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi everyone, my name is Warren Jacobson and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Camp Australia, provider of your OSH outside of school hours care programs and Rocketeer's vacation care programs. One of our strategic pillars is to be a partner of choice for partner schools and principals. Our recent partner survey revealed topics that teachers and principals were most interested in learning more about. And unsurprisingly, against the backdrop of COVID, two key areas stood out. The first was how to encourage resilience amongst staff and students. And the second was how to prioritize mental health. Right now, we're being inundated with lots of general information about these topics, but we wanted to develop tailored advice and supportive information by educators for educators to help equip you, our partner principals, your staff and students to cope as best as possible. We see firsthand how committed our principals are to investing in your staff and students. And so this program is to help you invest in yourselves.
I'm pleased to be able to advise that after today's event, all BMV members will receive an email. And within that email, you will all be able to access Camp Australia's Insight series. I truly hope you take the time to view the Insight series and find the content valuable, especially given the current environment. Thank you.
Over the last 35 years, the school photographer has become an integral part of the school photography landscape throughout Australia. We are very proud to have localised staff and offices operating in Adelaide, Darwin, Melbourne, Sydney, Canberra, Wollongong, Central Coast Newcastle and Alstonville in northern New South Wales. We are now a truly national operation. We would love to become your school's partner in a wide range of products and services in order to become your one-stop shop. These services include our unequalled 360 virtual school tours. We've produced nearly 300 of these wonderful, insightful products since 2014, and each and every one is tailored to fit what your school considers is important to them. Our unique 360 fly-throughs, once again, a great product for your website as we zip through your school grounds, buildings and facilities. Promotional videos of your school can also be produced along the same lines. Live streaming events. We have produced a range of products for different events, school plays, open days, graduations, orientation days and more. These can not only be viewed live, but more importantly, can be downloaded and watched at a later time by your extended school community. Yearbook production. We can provide your school with Pictavo software for your staff and students to format and design your own books. Everything is produced in-house locally, nothing is sent overseas. Our Gateway portal is proving to be an invaluable innovation for our many busy schools. You can easily download student portrait images for office use, produce replacement ID cards, and create personalised student certificates. The most important feature of our Gateway portal is that, unlike other companies' versions, our portal is double password protected. Our unique Photos to Life app will enable parents to see a range of options with selected photography. It may be a flyover of your school, or a Year 6, Year 12 group celebrating their graduation. We can even convert your personal principal's message into a live version or any designated chosen images in your yearbook. A fantastic innovation. Package-wise, we can tailor any personal requirements for your students, be they primary or high school. You choose what suits your requirements. Marketing products for your school are also a specialty for us. We can provide a new prospectus, orientation and open day invites with our compliments, fence banners, teardrop banners, pull-up banners, school colour-coded marquees, report folders, envelopes, and even a stationery rebranding. Just ask and we will provide. All of our production is carried out here in Australia, in our own lab. We have complete control of all imagery and none of your children's photographs go overseas for any reason. These photographs are all printed on the highest quality Kodak paper, not second-rate material or inkjet paper. Your images are printed to last.
Welcome back, everyone. We're actually now going to stay and not have that short break. Sorry, we decided Ali's ready to go. So it's my pleasure to introduce Ali Gay. And Ali is going to be talking to us about what's coming next in the school operational policy and engagement area. And Ali is the Executive Director of the Operational Policy, School Engagement and Compliance area. So welcome, Ali.
Thank you. And I'm hoping you can hear me. Yep. Thank you so much, Tracy, and thanks for having me, everyone, at your AGM today. Hopefully you can also see the slides. I can see them, so I'm assuming it's all good and working. And as Tracy mentioned, I'm just really here to update you on some ways in which we support you and can help you with your very busy schedules. So I'm just going to click, and that's hopefully worked. There we go. There's a quick snapshot of how we can support you. You should probably, I'm sure you do, unless you're very new to the job, you probably all know about PAL, and you're probably using that pretty much every day. I've given you there also our support phone number and email address. If you ever can't find anything, if you're frustrated with something that's just not working for you, there are sometimes IT glitches for some people and not for others. I don't know how that happens, but it does. So we are here to support you with that. All good now? Sorry about that. Fantastic. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm not sure. I must have had a bit of an internet glitch there. So where I was saying that we love to hear from you on PAL, and we really love it when you tell us what's not working for you so that we can try and fix that. So please do make the most of calling and emailing us. I'll also let you know today about something that's coming soon and will be announced next week in the school update on Tuesday, the 26th of October. We are launching a new principal advisory service, which is essentially a hotline, a phone number and an email address for all operational queries for school principals. But of course, we will also support business managers because we know that often you are the principal's delegate on a whole range of questions that they have. And I'll talk a little bit about that in more detail in a moment. The school policy templates portal for when you need a local policy at the school with your logo and your name on it. So I think you already know about that. I'll show you some slides in a moment just to refresh your memories and show you a few key features. We also, in my team now, since the start of term 2 this year, have the school compliance unit in my team. So we will be looking at all schools' compliance and doing all the assessments of compliance against the minimum standards and the child safe standards for schools in review from term 2 next year onwards. I'm going to explain that in more detail as well, but that's the bit that was the VRQA checklist, is how a lot of people referred to it, which you would do as part of a school review. And the school reviewer would typically do that checklist and go through it with the school as part of the review. Those processes have been separated now so that you get the support from my team throughout that whole process and to help fix up any non-compliance as well as part of that process. The last dot point I've got on this slide is about audit coordination. And that's something else that our team has been doing since last year. And that was in direct response to feedback from schools saying sometimes we have at the same time in the same term, and the school down the road hasn't had an audit for 2 years. So why are we being bombarded all at once? And what we discovered was that different areas that organised different audits, they weren't really coordinating with each other. They were running their own audit program, which makes sense. You know, I've got a finance audit. I've got to figure out the schools that I'm going to audit for finance. But then OHS would have an audit program, and they were figuring out the schools they would need to audit, and there was no way they could know whether they were going into the same school at the same time. So we now have oversight of that. There's about 7 different audit programs that do run, and you can see them listed there on that slide. And so we try to work with all of those areas to spread those out across the school year so that you're not getting more than one in a term, or hopefully in a semester, or even better in a year if possible. So if you have got issues where there's multiple things and multiple audits happening, or where you've got an audit scheduled but it's really a very difficult time for whatever reason in your specific circumstances, please reach out to us on that email address there, so school.audit.support, and we will see if we can work with those program areas to shuffle them around to make sure that they're not all happening at once. All right, so just expanding a little bit on each of those ways in which we can help you, and I won't take up too much of your time, and I know it's really hard when we can't interact and I'm just speaking into a screen. Just on PAL, I know you all know how to use it, but I just thought I'd highlight here, always remember the PAL help button there. That's where our phone number and our email address is if you need to contact us. And also the recently updated PAL topics button there. So you can always, it's not really a button, but you know, a link. You can click on that and it will bring up the page that shows what's been updated recently. And you'll see there's been a lot of updates recently, especially around COVID vaccinations. Principal Advisory Service. So this is designed to complement PAL and build on PAL as a one-stop shop. If you don't know who to call, you can call this service. That's sort of what we're saying. Don't spend more than 5 minutes looking for anything, which we always say about PAL. Principals should not be spending more than 5 minutes trying to figure out who do I have to call in the department. And we know that it happens, and sometimes they ring one person and they say no, ring another person, and they say no, ring another person. The idea is that this is a one-stop shop phone number. Ring us and we'll either triage to the right specialist that you need, PAL, and we can say, well, here's the PAL page if that's what you were looking for, and provide you with a quick answer. So this does not replace all of the areas and specialist areas within the department that you already call. So when a principal needs legal advice, they ring legal or employee conduct branch. There's obviously HR contacts for any HR issues or finance issues or IT issues. But there's a lot of new and acting principals that might not know who to call. SEALs often get a lot of those calls, but really they're operational things that hopefully we can answer and help to triage quickly to the right people. So we have this service that's starting next Tuesday. We've got people ready to answer the phones, and they all know PAL inside out because we've been working on it for a long time. We can also provide help with local school policy documentation, which we're already doing when people call us, but we're hopefully going to have a better profile so people know we've got this advisory service and they can ring us or email us anytime. And they can also use the service to say, I've got some ideas for how, you know, we could do this better as a department, or you could do this better as a department, as in us, in terms of reducing compliance or admin burden. So we're also going to, in next week's school update, along with the Principal Advisory Service, we're going to look at other resources that we can provide to schools that help with managing and planning workload. So we will also be launching a completely optional supportive tool, which is a school operations forward planner. And it's really in response to feedback that we've had, especially from new and acting principals, and there are a lot of them at any one time in the system, that they kind of don't know what's coming up. So ahead in next term and the term after, are there due dates for things that the department sets? You know, is there a census coming? Is there a PSD application deadline? Is there some school council election thing that has to be done? What's the annual report due date? All of those things that happen year on year. So they're recurring items that happen. You know, the census is always week, whatever it is, 2 or 3 of term 1. That might not be right. I might have just, made that date up, but you know what I mean. So we have things that do recur every year, and they're roughly in the same week of the same term each year. So we've created a forward planner that may be helpful. Some of you may already have something like this at your school, so it might just be something you can use to double check against that. It's not at all compulsory. It's absolutely just something that's there as a support, because we know there's lots of information in PAL and in other places on the department's website. The school update tells you when you need to do something, but it's not a forward look for the whole year. It's sort of a point in time communication to remind you this thing's happening. Can you please do X, Y, and Z? So this is meant to be more of an enduring sort of forward planner. And it's the things that don't really change from year to year. It's not going to be the new things and the new initiatives that require different due dates and things from schools. This is the stuff that happens every year. The attestation, the finance one, what's that called? The school, I think it's the school compliance. No, what's it called? Can't remember. But there's that one that you do sort of at the end of the financial year when you go through quite a big checklist. So all of those things will be, oh, there it is. It's the school certification checklist. And it's downloadable in Excel format that we will provide it to you in. Year at a glance, you can delete things that aren't relevant to you. You can add columns, so you can sort of make it your own. We'll be updating it every year. If there's something major that we need to update, we might do that every term, but we will let you know that in the school update. So I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last week of every term in the school update, there's always an article about policy changes, like a sort of a list of the things that we've updated on PAL that are substantive changes over that term. And we intend to put if we've had to make any updates to the forward planner, we'll do that in the same article. All right, here's a little sneak preview of what it looks like. And I know it's really tiny on your screen, so you won't actually be able to see, but there's a column for the name of the item, whether it's mandatory, primary or secondary, what term it normally falls in, what the indicative week is, week 5, term 1, whether it's an annual thing that happens or more often than that, whether the item has a fixed due date or whether it's one that you can choose as a school when you do it, as long as you do it once a year or whatever the frequency is. Some further information and a link to PAL. So hopefully that will just help give you a bit of an overview and a means of planning. School policy templates portal. I just wanted to remind you that there's a spreadsheet of all policies, and I've circled it there where you find it on the right-hand menu bar, and also where you can find updates. So where we've made updates, we list them in this section here. So that's just a reminder, because I know you're probably already all using that. And this last one is just on the change that I mentioned earlier in terms of school reviews, that there's a separation of the compliance aspect from the improvement aspect of school reviews. And that's because we heard very clearly from our principals and reviewers, and our regional staff actually, that their headspace wasn't there to do both things at once. And principals, the compliance work done about 6 to 12 months before the school review starts. So we're trying to make that model as supportive as possible. We know that there's a lot of work involved to get through all of the items that you need to make sure your school is compliant before that review, especially on all the minimum and child safe standards policies that you need and other documentation. So trying to make it as supportive as possible, and that a person in my team will actually be able to, once they've assessed all the documentation, actually provide you with help to fix up anything that's non-compliant. And then the school will have an assessment report, and that can be tabled on the first day of the school review when that happens further down the track. And we are trying to be as flexible as possible to help schools with the timing and help them actually choose timing that might suit them for when they undertake that assessment. And we're piloting it already for the schools that are due for review in term 2 or term 3 next year. We've got about probably 160 or more schools that are already part of the pilot to help us test our new model and our new checklist over this term and next terms. And hopefully we'll have a really great new system that is more supportive for you. So that's really all that I wanted to say. So I might stop sharing, and it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because I can't interact with you and can't say, do you have any questions? And you can put your hand up, but okay, great. Well, yes, if anybody would like to ask a question, there is the discussion forum, and you can add some questions into that chat. But I can't see any right now. So I can hang around, and I'm happy to do that. I don't know, you're going to a break next?
I think we will probably go for a break, but I'm just watching to see. I don't think there's any questions coming, Ali. So I'm happy if we do go for a break, unless there's anything else. And obviously, Ali, I think, yeah, it will be. It's always interesting, and I do think that tool that you've talked about with the forward planner would be very beneficial to new upcoming business managers, principals, and everybody involved, because there seems to be so much more now that we have to try and keep track of, and to actually have that in some sort of form and document that we can even, as you suggest, add to and put names beside to share the load. I think that would be a really wonderful thing to put in place for all staff in schools. So thank you very much for that, Ellie. I don't see any questions.
I can see a couple of questions. When will the planner be available? So the planner will be released. It's pending a little bit of, I've got to get approval. But I think with the announcement of the Principal Advisory Service, which will be in next week's school update. So that's Tuesday, the 26th of October. So look at school update. We'll announce the Principal Advisory Service, and in that same article, we'll talk about the planner as a resource that is available. And we were going to put that, have an intranet page, so a revamped sort of principals page on the intranet, so that it's not on a public facing website. So it won't be on PAL, because that is a public facing website. So it will be on the intranet, and there'll be a link to it, and you'll be able to download that Excel spreadsheet from there. But we'll make sure there's many ways in which you can find it, so that it won't be too hard to find, hopefully. And I can see there's a question about the pilot program. And yes, if you are a school undergoing review anytime from term 2 onwards next year, let me know, and just send me an email, and we can get you into the pilot or work out a time for your minimum and child safe standards work.
Thank you very much, Ali, and it's always a pleasure to have you along and to talk to us all and to keep us informed. And I know that you're actually doing your best for all of us to make sure that we're all doing our jobs and making compliance a lot easier for all of your area as well. But thank you very much for your information.
Thank you, Tracy.
We will go for a 10-minute break just now. 5 minutes, okay, and then we'll have our next speaker will be Tanya. So if everybody can come back at 10:30, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Sorry. Thanks, Hayley. So welcome back. I hope everyone had a quick break, had a stretch, did everything we need to do, got your cuppa ready. I'd now like to introduce Tanya Ran and Rosalind McCredden, who will be talking about our tips and tricks for EduPay. And Tanya is the change manager from the EduPay Reimagined, and I've actually had the pleasure to have been working with Tanya on quite a bit of this EduPay Reimagined. And also, I just mentioned I actually participated in some training with Ros last week for 3 mornings. So I feel like we've been doing this online for forever. But welcome to Tanya and Ros.
Thanks, Tracy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. Great to be here. As Tracy said, we're going to go through some tips and tricks, but just before then, we're going to share a little bit about our approach, our consultative design-based approach to engaging business managers and business working groups, share a little bit about our roadmap, share what we're planning for 2022. You're the first to hear it, so very exciting. And then we'll get to the handy hints. So without further ado, as Tracy mentioned very quickly, I've been the change manager on the EduPay Reimagined and now EduPay My Way program for 2 years. And Ros has been in the training role for 5 years and has actually been a business manager for 22 years. So you're in good hands with Ros and myself to look after you over the next 30 minutes. Okay, so we'll keep moving. Firstly, a little bit about our approach, and I know some of you in the audience today are participating in our engagement session, so thank you so much. We can't do this without you. So just to walk you through what that's all about and hopefully recruit a few more business working group attendees, we have a 6-step process that we follow. It's called our consultative design-based approach, which includes structured virtual meetings, and that's how we reimagine each of the features with key users. So the first step is to investigate and really importantly, get a group of business managers together. We have our initial meeting. We hear from you about what the pain points are for the particular feature we're reimagining, for example, schools assisted vacancies, one of our recent launches. We hear what's not working for you, what you'd like to see SAVs do, and you know, what could work better for you as a business manager. We then take all that feedback, we go back to the design room and we actually mock up some designs for your feedback. And then we come back to you for step 2 and we collaborate with you. And that's our collaboration session. So we share these mock designs with you and we get your feedback and suggestions based on that. We're not in EduPay at this point, it's not final. We go back to the design room and then we come back to you again. We make those changes based on your feedback and we come back to you and we show you a proof of concept in EduPay, just mocked up in a test environment and demo environment, and we go through that with you. And then most excitingly, we get to do user experience testing with you. So those of you that are participating in these sessions understand that you get to use the new feature for the first time, first before anybody else, and you get to test it, you know, try and break it, tell us what's still not working, and there's still an opportunity for us to change things at that point. And then we launch, which is really exciting, lots of comms, lots of engagement. You've probably heard about all that. And then we circle back for some feedback. So that's our design-based approach to working with our key users who are our business managers. And at last count, I think with the features we were reimagining, we had over 350 business managers engaged in these working groups. So if you're interested, email me if you'd like to get involved. Wait, hear the rest of the pitch, the rest of the pack. But we've had some really good feedback, which we'll also share with you. So just a bit of a snapshot of this year so far. I can't believe it's October. Goodness me, where has the year gone? 2021 has been all about streamlining recruitment and onboarding activities, as you would see as evidenced by schools assisted vacancies, by schools onboarding, by managed appointments. It's all about getting that right in the beginning. So our change and engagement activities are designed to engage, enable and empower our EduPay users. And that's my role, so I take that very seriously. At the end of the day, my job is to set you up for success and make sure that you can do your job as good as you were, if not better, before we reimagined the feature that we're working on. So far this year, we've reimagined 16 features. We had feedback sessions at the start of the year where 93 business managers attended and provided feedback on 2020, and also worked with us to design the roadmap for 2021. So that was a very exciting initiative. We've developed over 165 support guides and frequently asked questions supporting the features that we've reimagined. And we've had over 280 comms go out, whether it's via announcement, via the BMV newsletter, via HRM Online, via a pop-up, all the different avenues and mediums that we use to share the communications. As I said, 354 currently engaged in feature working groups, and really amazingly, over 1,200 business managers have attended training this year, which is very exciting. And we've got our schools assisted vacancy training happening this week, starting tomorrow. Quick plug, but Roz will talk more about that in a moment. Okay, but 2021's not over yet. We've still got a few really exciting features that we're working on. Forecasting additional leave, this is a really good win. This came out of some conversations with a few business managers saying, hey, we'd love to know the leave balance of that's available for business managers for the upcoming school vacation. And we listened and we took that on, then we got a working group together. We got feedback from other business managers. And then we're actually developing a really great visual representation that will help you with the forthcoming vacation, the long vacation coming up at the end of the year. And you'll be able to see which business managers and employees have sufficient leave to cover their entire term break. So that's a great win. We're looking forward to that. Global search is coming soon, a bit like Google search. You'll be able to search anything in EduPay within your access rights, of course. Great opportunity to search employee records or functions. School allowances, you might recall last year we reimagined special payments, higher duties and extra hours. We're about to launch special school, first aid and intensive care. And we've also got a refresher session coming soon to get you ready for them. And change of hours. You might recall we launched change of hours last year. We got so much feedback from business managers at the beginning of the year that you weren't using it and all the reasons why you weren't using it. So we went back to the drawing board and we've designed another version of change of hours, which includes the comments box, the attachment function, and other information to assist employees determine their appropriate hours each day. And really excitingly, as part of this relaunch, we've got our all new team calendar, which will show your team's scheduled hours for the weeks, locations, and color-coded leave. So you'll be able to see whether on special leave, parent leave, any of those types of leave. So that's really exciting, and that's all coming in the next couple of months. Okay, so a bit of a plan on a page. You can see here, this is our roadmap. Each of our features that we reimagine in EduPay fall into one of 7 key categories. It's designed at the top of the screen, either great look and feel, device friendly, easier navigation, and so on. As you can see, last year was all about EduPay looking good and being easy to use. So we concentrated on the first 3 pillars, making sure it looked good, you could use it anywhere, anytime on any device, and that it had a lot of intuitiveness and ease of navigation. That was really important because we remember what the old EduPay was like. This year, the focus has been on recruitment and onboarding activities. You can see the middle pillars, guided self-service in the schools onboarding and the employee selector. And streamlined processes, a really big year for streamlined processes, you know, with the cancel leave, the leave order approval, workers' compensation, amazing launch in July with 4 reimagined processes, manage appointments, schools assisted vacancies, and a few more there. You'll see a few things there that you're thinking probably, oh, what are those? I don't know what they are. This is a roadmap for our VPS and corporate users as well, but mainly for our school users. And I forgot to call out at the beginning, EduPay Reimagined is all about reducing the administrative burden for our users, which is why we've called it EduPay My Way. As I pitched this at the start of the year, it's a bit like Maya, My Store, EduPay My Way. We want EduPay to work for you exactly the way you do, when you need it to, and how you need it to. So that's what we're working on. We're not just a project team that sits behind going, let's reimagine this week. It doesn't work like that. We go out to the users and we get feedback and we engage. As Tracy said, the session. I'll keep going. Okay, 2022. This is really exciting. Literally got this from John Rayner, the IT manager, at about 5 o'clock on Friday. John, I need to tell the team what's happening next year. So you're first to hear this. Really excited. The start of next year is we're going to actually improve the look and feel of EduPay, but not big changes. Don't worry, we still do like those tiles with the icons and the announcements there. We're going to have a single sign-on to EduPay, which is really great. And the really big one is Recruitment Online is moving in with EduPay. So you won't even have to leave EduPay to log into Recruitment Online. So you'll just log into EduPay at the start to move between the two quite seamlessly. Second quarter, we're looking at HR delegations. We're going to improve the casual timesheets. We'll have multi-factor authentication. We're really getting with the times here. And then we'll have the Kibana reporting and analytics. So making sure that when you're doing your reporting, having what you need at your fingertips and being able to grab things out of EduPay and represent them visually for any reporting needs. And then the third quarter, which I'm sure you've all seen by now, is EduPay is moving to a new platform. And that will ensure our stability, which is very important, much better performance, even though we have to admit it's been much better this year than last year, let's be honest, and more. So that's our plan so far. They're hot off the press. That's what we're looking forward to next year. Okay, so that was our sort of great big quick tour of EduPay. What I'm going to do now is just share some feedback that some of our very kind friends of EduPay we're calling, and you'll see on the left-hand side, we're actually launching our Instagram page today, Friends of EduPay. So not now, keep watching, but when we're finished, please hop on and have a look at Friends of EduPay and join Eddie and the team. Eddie's our little EduPay mascot that you may have seen around the traps, and we'd love to see you there. Okay, really great feedback from some of our business manager working group community. As you can see there, Jane loves the My Favourites, making everyday tasks so much easier. Rachel is really involved in a number of our working groups. Thanks, Rachel. She's like, please join our EduPay working party. And hearing it from business managers is so important than just us sitting here saying, hey, come along, join. We're thinking about you. We're working for you. It is a great way to give the EduPay developers feedback on what we like from a business management point of view, as Rachel says. And Lee, her tip would be to teach SLP staff to do their own timesheets. It's easy and decreases the work process of BMs. So that's always a good thing. Melissa is giving us advice on how you can use your TO number to sign in. So that's great, rather than typing your full email address. Any quick tips? Michelle's sharing that the self-service system here is really easy and encouraging you to make the change if you haven't already. And there's a couple of links in this presentation which you'll see and we'll share afterwards. Bree loves My Favourites as well. Love that feature. Got a few people that really love that feature. And Natalie is promoting using the tiles and the tabs. And if you're not comfortable with that, start with the navigator and work your way through. But we have had really good feedback on the design this year. So excuse me, without further ado, right on time, Jackie, lucky, I'm going to hand over to Roz to go through some tips and tricks, and I'll see you after Roz's part. Thank you.
Thanks, Tanya. So I hope that my tips and tricks will be as interesting as the ones that you guys have already shared with us, because I agree with a lot of those. Look, the first thing I want to talk about is work cover, and as Tanya mentioned, really key processes for schools that were reimagined earlier this year. There's your claim number validation, which makes sure that your correct claim number is attached for all transactions and only used in EduPay. Your pre-injury average weekly earnings is a simple, streamlined way of producing a 2-page report, PDF, for you to email to Gallagher Bassett. No more complicated calculations. Your current weekly earnings is another simple, streamlined 2-page report that you can just send to Gallagher Bassett after the return to work has commenced. You don't have to add up hours and salary, etc. And probably the one I love the best in the work cover area is the make-up pay entitlement balance. There's no more complicated calculations and forecasting and adding things up manually. It's just a simple format which shows you exactly how many hours of make-up pay are left at any given time in the process. Now, it's really important that your leave entries are always up to date, because if they're not, then none of those things that I've just mentioned will work properly. They'll have incorrect information in them. The second thing I really want to emphasise for you is to make sure you visit the workers' compensation site on PAL. Just go into PAL and go to W for workers' compensation. There's so much valuable information on there. The policy tab actually is the place that you'll find the latest copies of the employee and employer claim forms. Don't use old ones that you've got lying around at school. Make sure you get a new one, because they have changed a little earlier this year as well. On the resources tab, you'll find so much other information, so many resources, There's fact sheets, process guides, etc. And really importantly there are some links to the excellent training that the Compensation and Return to Work team will deliver for you. And this is a must if you're new to work cover or it's been a while since you managed a claim. And lastly, my hint is don't wait to hear from Gallagher Bassett after submitting the initial claim forms. Start developing the return to work plan straight away as soon as you're notified of the injury. And that way you'll end up with a good outcome, hopefully, of the person getting back to work. Let's go to the next slide. And we're going to talk about tax and banking here. I hope that you all by now realise that you don't need to enter tax and banking details for either new or for returning or current employees. They can do it themselves. There's a couple of ways they can do it. If they're a new or returning employee, they should be completing the new employee onboarding process that was launched last term. If they are a current employee, they should be entering and updating their details using ESS. Now, if the employee enters their own details, there's no need for you to update those details. And if they change, you should be encouraging to make those changes in ESS. And I think someone else mentioned that as one of their handy hints a few minutes ago as well. When the employee logs in with their ID number and their confidential password, that is their authorisation for the change. There's no need to issue or file paper forms like the tax file number declaration anymore. You can check up on what's going on. If they're onboarding, have a look at the Manage Onboarding tile, and you can also see if they haven't entered their details when you do your pay certification by checking those messages closely. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We're going to talk about manage appointments on the next slide, and this is another one of those streamlined time savers. I feel like I'm just saying streamlined time saver the whole way through with every point, but that is really what the whole EduPay Reimagined project is all about. It's really about saving time for business managers and HR administrators, and sometimes by saving time for those people, we're saving time for principals as well as a handy little sideline. And this project just keeps on delivering. So Manage Appointments replaces the old process, which was manage hires and then going through all the different areas in EduPay for tax, for banking, for work schedules, you know, lots and lots of different places. This is a simple 4 steps to hire, rehire, transfer and promote your staff. My handy hints here are to save and use the next button to move through the process. And that means that if anything goes haywire during that process, which, you know, we all know can happen, you won't lose your work if you've been saving as you go. Try to be prepared before you start the process. Make sure you've done your homework and collected the few forms that you still do need. And the validation of personal details is one really important one. A lot of people think that you just use that for people the first time they're joining the Department of Education, but I certainly used to use it for every new contract because it's, especially if someone's coming from another school, that form is my way of finding out just about everything I need to know, ID number, experience, etc. Because one of the things you will need to know in Manage Appointments is what grade and step they're on. Now, if the validation of personal details form doesn't help you with that, ask them if they can give you a copy of a recent payslip, or contact the previous school that they're coming from and ask them what grade and step they were on. You can also always ring School People Services or log a call with them on the services portal and get them to look it up. And my handy hint here is to always err on the side of caution. Go low. It's much easier to give them some extra later than take it away. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And again, the improvements just don't stop. This one's about the new automated school assisted vacancies process. I love this one. It's fantastic. It's easy to use and it makes sure that all the necessary approvals and information for a SAV are in place. You'll be creating the vacancy, you'll be linking your preferred applicant and having it approved by the principal. And once the principal has approved and submitted the application, it'll be forwarded to SRU, Schools Recruitment Unit, for them to approve. If there's a problem, SRU will push it back or deny the vacancy. And if it's pushed back, the principal will be able to see the comments and you'll be able to edit and resubmit the vacancy, including anything that was forgotten, attaching additional information and putting in comments and back to SRU for them to approve. If it's denied, you'll contact SRU straight away. If it's approved, you'll move into EduPay and complete your Manage Appointments and the employee onboarding. Now, after the principal has approved and submitted the vacancy, it goes straight to SRU. They don't need to do any more work, and you can keep an eye on the progress of the SAV by opening up the job offer and having a look at the approvals tab. And according to the service level agreement policy, SRU will process those requests within 14 days, and actually it's usually a lot quicker than that. All right, next slide is the school allowances, and that was launched in August last year, and it's a fully integrated process for higher duties, special payment and extra hours at current rate. And the integrated process ensures that the policy, you're policy compliant, and that notifications which are embedded along the way are sent out to the relevant people. I hope you are all on board with the simple, streamlined process for school allowances, because it really is another one of the time savers, and I can't say enough. If you're still wasting time muddling through the traditional menu and looking through the slightly outdated user guides, because they're not including the reimagined tiles and menu paths, trying to work out how to submit an allowance and which format you should be using, you really need to stop and have a look at the school's allowances. It's time for you to get on and use this step-by-step guided menu, which ensures the policy all the way. And remember, once you've finished submitting the allowance, it needs to be approved by the principal before it will take effect on the payroll. Just because you've clicked on submit doesn't mean it will hit the payroll without that last approval. And there's a whole lot of user guides, and they're available on the EduPay Reimagined website if you're not sure how to save your time with the automated allowance process. And I think Tanya mentioned a few minutes ago, there are a couple of new allowances very soon for the automated process. All right, we'll move on to the next slide. And the next slide is just a little opportunity to promote what's coming up in terms of training. There is a bit on over the next few weeks in addition to our usual Term 4 training and our end of year sessions. There's going to be information sessions coming up. Now, this week we've got the school assisted vacancies. There's still plenty of spaces available and enrolments are still open for sessions later this week, not tomorrow's, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are still open. The session is also going to include a refresher on that school allowance process that I was just talking about. And another little free gift with purchase for you is a couple of slides about the teacher learning initiative, the tutor learning initiative for 2022. I'll have knowledge experts from SRU there to answer any of the questions you might have. And following on from that, we are going to have some dedicated tutor learning initiative sessions in early November, which will just take you through the recruiting processes for that tutor learning initiative 2022. And we'll have knowledge experts on board for that one to support us from SRU as well. Also in early November, we have the normal Term 4 ROL and EduPay information session. And in that one, we'll have knowledge experts from both SRU and Schools People Services to answer questions and support us. Bookings for all the sessions are via My Learn Ed in EduPay, and I hope I'll see lots of you there. Thanks, Tanya.
Thanks, Ros. Right on time. Thank you so much. Okay, just wanted to share some of our feedback from our friends of EduPay. As I said, a quick plug about the Instagram site where you'll see a tip a day for the next 30 days. We're launching today at the AGM, so love you to get on board there. But as we sort of said, we can't do this without working with the business managers, or we can, but we don't want to. We really want to work closely with business managers through our consultative design-based approach, work with you to get your feedback and suggestions, because at the end of the day, this system needs to work for you and how you need it to work for you. So that's what we've been doing over the last 2 years, and we're going to continue throughout next year. And as you can see on the screen, we've had some great feedback from some real users about what they like about what we've reimagined. And I think Ros and I can sit here and tell you how great all these changes are, but really importantly, it's really nice to hear it from your colleagues. And as you can see there, just calling it out, Sandy loves SAVs, and Bree loves the work cover changes and the manager appointments. Chris loves the manager appointments, making life easier there. And Anne loves schools onboarding and SAVs. So you can see that these streamlined processes really are making life a lot easier for business managers. And I understand that it's change and that we're in a very change fatigued world at the moment with everything going on. So everything is amplified every time we do this. So we want to make sure it's as easy and as seamless for you as possible. So email me, Tanya Rand, if you've got some concerns or you need a little bit of hand holding or you want me to get a functional analyst to help walk you through one of the features that you're not comfortable. We're here for you and we want to make this work for you as you need it to. So as you can see here, some more feedback from some of our users. Rachel loves the managing appointments. Julie loves schools onboarding and manage hires, and you can see, but I won't go through all of them. I'll actually share the pack with you after the session. As well, we've got some handy takeaways as well. So all the tips and tricks you saw today, we've put it together in a one-page flyer and we're going to share that with you with other couple of exciting little things that you can do, like color in a unicorn. And I know that sounds a bit corny, but sometimes you just need to have a mindful task on your desk. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap up 2 minutes early. Jackie, please notice. Keep in touch. If you'd like to join our working groups, just email me. I'm on the education system, Tanya Rand. As I said, the more the merrier. I want to have the problem where I've got too many people in our working groups and I've got to organise 2 sessions and manage the crowd. I love that problem. Stay social with us. As we said, launching today, you'll see Eddie. That's the little icon that'll come up when you go onto Instagram. A tip a day. But don't think, if you're not on Instagram, this is not about exclusion. This is about full inclusion. If you're not on Instagram, that's cool. We're still going to share our tips through every other medium, in every other forum, like we normally do. But we thought this is just a bit of fun. So thank you so much for having Roz and I here today. It's been a real pleasure and a real honour to speak at the AGM. And we look forward to seeing you all online soon. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you very much, Tanya, and thank you, Roz, for all of the information and to share what we've been doing and how lucky we've been, some of us who've been participating, and others get to know what we've seen and what we've been involved with. So thank you very much for all of that. We did have some questions, but we'll send through those questions and we'll get them circulated, Tanya and Roz, so that you can have a look at those and respond to them as need be. But thank you very much.
Sorry, Tracy, I've popped a couple of links in the chat as well to respond to a couple of those questions. So jump on those.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Anthony Lay. And we've had a little taster from Anthony at the start when we saw his video. And then Jane nicely told us some more about what's going to be happening at the conference for us next year. But I'd really like to introduce Anthony, who's going to do the power of human connection. And I just want to remind you all, I hope you've got your pen and paper. So let's go, Anthony.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Super excited to be joining you here for the end of this morning's session to sort of take this in a slightly different direction than what you've been having all morning. We're going to have a little interactive session now. We're going to play some mind games. We're going to have some fun. So as you just heard, hopefully you've got your pen and your paper ready. We're going to start out with a quick game. Now, this is going to be interactive. I will be asking some of you to effectively come here into my studio, but I'm going to ask you to get really interactive in the chat screen. So we're going to play a quick game, first of all, using some of these. Now, this is just a quick test for me to just sort of get in tune with all of you through the power of the internet. So I've got 5 simple shapes here. So I've got a circle, I've got a cross, I've got some wavy lines, I've got a square, and I've also got a star. So you're going to need to remember those 5. So I'll repeat them for you again. We have a circle, we have a cross, we have some wavy lines, we have a square, and we also have a star. So 5 simple shapes. Now, what's going to happen is this. I'm going to mix these up in just a moment, and I'm going to think of one of these, and I'm going to try and transmit my thoughts through the interwaves to you there watching with your in your office or your home, wherever you are right now. So I'm going to mix these up so you don't know which ones are which. And I'm going to be thinking of one. Now, this is a thing. Whether you think that this is psychic or whether you think this is influence is entirely up to you. But I'm going to tell you this. There are certain things I'm saying, there are certain things that I am doing, which hopefully is going to influence the majority of your decisions. So let's go with this one here, first of all, actually. This one here. What I want you to do is, in the chat box, write down which shape you think it is. Remember, there was a circle, square, wavy lines, a square, and also a star. So you can write in you can abbreviate it down. So we've got star, a lot of, okay, so there's a lot of stars coming up. squiggly lines, star. So a lot of you are thinking star, circle. Okay, there's a lot of wavy lines coming in now. Circle, circle, wavy lines. Okay. I know apparently my internet is a little bit glitchy.
Sorry, everyone, the internet is not being our friend this morning, so we're just going to try to get Anthony back in. We've got frozen.
Okay, Jackie, can you hear me, Jackie?
Hang on. We're just going to reset Anthony's connection and be back with you in 2 seconds. So keep those cards in mind. Just 1 second.
We are back, everybody. Okay, that was not part of the presentation. That was not part of my weird mind games. That was the internet playing mind games with me. So look, we'd only just sort of got into it. So let's hit the rewind button and let's go right back to the beginning. We've got these 5 shapes: wavy lines, circle, cross, star, or square. Now I know that you've already typed this in, but that was you just getting warmed up with your fingers. In the chat box in a moment. So there's the wavy lines, there's a circle, the cross, the star, or the square. I'm going to think of one of these, and I want you to try and intuit as to which one you think that it is. And just type it into the chat screen as to which one you think it is, one of those shapes. Okay, so we've got cross, we've got star, we've got cross, wavy line, square, cross. There's a lot of crosses coming up this time here. I think that's because last time a lot of people were putting star. I mean, let me show you what it is. It is in actual fact the cross. So if you got cross, then well done. You might sort of be thinking, well, have you been influenced by that there? Because the fact that I got a little bit cross about being pushed off of the internet. So we're going to do it again. So I'm going to think of a different one. It won't be the cross this time. I'm going to think of another one. And this time it's this one here. I'm just going to think of it. I'm just going to let it sort of just pass through my mind. I want you to imagine now it coming down through and appearing on the screen in front of you. Which shape do you now think that I'm thinking of? It's got wavy lines, wiggly lines, circle, wavy lines. Okay, there's a lot of wavy lines. Now, those of you that put down wavy lines, it is in actual fact the wavy lines. Now, let me tell you what I did just then. As I said, wavy lines, I said, look, I've got one here. I'm just going to sort of let it come through my mind. And I actually used my hand at the side of my head and sort of did this action. I made a wavy line kind of action, which some of you would have picked up on subconsciously, which then put the wavy lines into your head. So I want to take this another level. Look, the last person that put down wavy lines was Angelina Abswood. Hopefully I pronounced your surname right. So Angelina, what I'm going to try to get you to do, now I've already started pushing the bounds of technology already this morning. I'm going to see if we can get you to come up into the room here. Now, if this doesn't work out, then Angelina, we can actually we can try and play this through the chat box. But Angelina, I'm going to try and get you to peer up beside me, because you and I are going to try and take this to another level. So hopefully in just a second, you're going to peer up on the screen beside me, because I've got another set of these cards just here. Now, while Angelina's joining me up on the stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these, lay all these down here. So that, look, we've got two full sets of cards just here. What's going to happen is in a moment, Angelina is going to try and intuit all of these cards. She's going to try and put them all back in the right place. Now, at the moment, I can't see Angelina up on my screen.
No, Angela is ignoring my invitation to join the green room, so she may not have her camera on. Perhaps do we want to try? I might
Okay, I'll tell
Can
you
I
what,
bring
Jackie.
Bronwyn, our president, across to have a look?
I'll tell you what, Jackie.
Because will people
You can
be
choose
suspicious that we've set
anybody
something
that you
up?
like. This is exciting this morning, isn't it? This is keeping me on my toes. So you can choose anybody that you like, Jackie. Anybody who's got the camera on, throw them up on the screen beside me, and let's see if we can make this. Let's see if we can make this happen. Let's have some fun.
Okay, I'm going to bring Jane across because she's finished on committee. So this is my last opportunity to use and abuse her. There we go.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm very excited. Thank you. Good.
Perfect. So just out of interest, because I now need to work out how you think. What did you have for the last one? Did you think wavy lines?
Wavy lines.
You did think wavy lines. Okay, fantastic. This should work then. This should work. So I'm going to choose these in a very specific order. We're going to go for this one here first of all. All you've got to do is say whether you think that it's a circle, the cross, the wavy lines, the square, or the star. So which one do you feel that this one is?
I think that's the square.
You think it's a square. Okay. The fact that you put the word think in there means that you might be sort of second guessing yourself, but that's fine. We'll go with the square first of all. This time, I want you to be very certain. What shape do you think this one is?
The star.
The star. Okay, that was you're a lot more certain. I could hear it in your voice. Like, yes, that one is the star. Let's go for this one here. Which one do you think this is?
The cross.
The cross. So we'll pop that one down there. This one here.
I'll say the wavy lines.
The wavy lines, which obviously means this one here is a circle. Now, at this point in time, it's entirely up to you. If you want to, you can switch some of these around. You just tell me some shapes and I'll switch them around, or you can leave your choices exactly as you've made them. Now, remember, you thought it was the square. So that was the one that you were a little bit uncertain about. So if you want to change it, then you can. Now, while you're thinking of whether you want to switch any of these around, what we've done here is we've created it's a classic psychic test. And what they would say is that the psychic would have to get at least 3 out of 5 right to be classed as being genuinely psychic. Now, whether you believe in psychic powers or not is entirely up to you. However, should you get 3 out of 5 right, then apparently that means that you are genuinely psychic. Do you feel that you're quite intuitive?
I do.
You do? Okay, good, good, good. So we're going to see now as to how intuitive you are. So would you like to switch any of them?
Yes, I'd like to switch the square to the wavy lines.
Oh, wavy lines.
No, I'll square to the circle, please.
Okay, now are you sure about that? Because what I actually did was when you said the square, I went to pick it up and I also went to pick up the circle. It's almost like I sort of guided you towards it. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Okay, yes, I did. So that's probably why I did it. So I'll go from my original was square to wavy lines.
Okay, cool. So so you're now trying to outthink me here.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So do you want to go square to wavy lines or square to circle?
Please. Square to wavy lines, please.
Square to wavy lines. So switch them over. Wavy lines one that goes there and the square one goes there. Are you now happy with all of your choices?
Yes, I am.
Now remember, 3 out of 5 right means that you are genuinely psychic. If you get more than that, that means that you are super psychic, and everybody will go wild and crazy in the chat box if you get at least 3 out of 5 right. So which one would you like me to turn over first of all? I'll tell you, we're going to leave these 2 until last because these are the ones that you switch. So that's where the suspense could be. Which one do you want me to turn over first? You're pretty certain on the star. Yeah, you're pretty certain on the star. Well, let's check it out. That is, in actual fact, the star.
Very good. Wow.
Glad that you're impressed with the 1 there. That's fantastic. But remember, you also got the wavy lines right. So technically speaking, that's 2. So only 1 more and you'll be classed as genuinely psychic. So the stars, first of all. Let's go for the circle, which was the one that I was sort of hinting towards. And that is, in actual fact, the circle just there. So that is now 2 out of the 5 right. Go, Jane. Absolutely. Go, Jane. Let's go for the cross next because we're going to leave these 2 until last. The cross, that is, in actual fact, the cross. That is now 3 out of 5. You are now genuinely psychic. How do you feel?
Extremely great. Just wish I could get the Tats Lotto numbers.
I tell you what, so do I. I also wish I could get the Tats Lotto numbers. It's a little bit more tricky than a bunch of shapes. So we're left with the last. Now, remember, you decided to switch these 2. Had you decided to leave it as it was, we would have ended up with a completely different result here. But Jane, you switched these 2 at the very last minute. We have a square here. We have some wavy lines here. And that is, in actual fact, what we have. We have a complete match there. Well done, Jane. Well done on you for deciding to switch. You are now super psychic. Everybody should be scared of you, Jane, because you know exactly what everybody else is thinking. So Jane, thank you so much for taking part
Thank
in
you.
that little game just then. You can go back down to the comfort of your room. Now, one of the things that's been happening over the wow, exactly. Yeah, Nancy's got wow in capitals. Now, when you type a comment in capitals, that means that you're really impressed. That's like you shouting, wow, oh my gosh. So one of the things that's been happening, I mean, I'm very lucky in that I'm based up in Queensland. So we haven't had the big lockdowns that you've had. But in the times that we have, I've got two young daughters. They're aged 6 and they're aged 9. And I mean, I'm a great mentalist, not quite so good a teacher, to be honest. And so I've been trying to make homeschooling fun. So what I'd like you all to do is this. I want you to imagine now, I want you to imagine that you're in a classroom and you're probably about the age between sort of say 8 and 12 years old. So somewhere about around that sort of age. And the teacher has stood up at the front of the classroom and they've said to you, I want you to do a drawing. I want you to draw something down, something simple, something that you could do in about 10 seconds. So that pen and paper that you have, I want you to draw down a picture. Whatever it is that you would draw it down. And then after you've drawn it down, I want you to type into the chat box what you drew. Now, the reason I'm actually getting you to physically draw it is because you could think of anything. But I want you to actually draw this thing. And then after you've drawn it, write down in the chat box. We've got a house, we've got a sun, we've got a flower, we've got a house. Okay, lots of houses, lots of flowers. Excellent. Now, Jackie, could I ask you to choose anybody at all that you want? Now, it's really important that all of you guys know that nothing's been set up ahead of time. But Jackie, could you find somebody that's got their camera on? Somebody's put down a grumpy emoji. Vicky has put down the grumpy emoji. Anybody at all that's got their camera on, could you bring them up onto the screen here beside me? Because I want to play a game based on drawings and based on homeschooling. So I don't know who we're going to get. Jackie's going to surprise me with a mystery helper. It's going to pop up beside me.
If you get that invite up on your screen, you need to accept it and come into the green room with us. Don't ignore it.
You're going to have lots of fun. And I promise I will not embarrass you in any way, shape or form. Just some nice, simple selections is all you're going to have to do. Oh, look at that. We got an island and palm tree. Jane is obviously thinking about going on holiday somewhere. We've got an island and a palm tree there, a riverbank tree and a campfire from Jan. Nina's put a girl with a dress. Nina's obviously desperate for a bit of a night out. They got a leaf. Oh wow, look at that. I'll tell you what, we don't have typewriter come up very often. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Jackie, if we got somebody, or is nobody too keen to come up onto the screen?
Ignoring our invites. So I might bring Gabrielle across if that's okay. I know everyone will think again we've set it up, but
I will convince one of you to play a game with me before it's too long.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Hi there. How you doing?
Hi, Anthony.
So did you draw a picture?
I did. I drew a horizon with a tree and a sun.
A horizon with a tree and a sun. Okay, that's absolutely amazing. Now, obviously you've gone for a bit more of a sort of landscape kind of image there.
Possibly.
And that's more of a scenery rather than a single thing. But what was it again? Sorry, it was a horizon.
Just a horizon with a tree and a sun.
Tree and a sun, because this is a really weird thing, because I drew something down ahead of time.
Oh no.
As to what I thought. Now, I've gone for a single object, but check this out. This pad at the back of the room has been here the entire time, and I drew down one thing, okay, and I put it on the. So I flipped the piece. I drew it, flipped the piece of paper over. You drew a horizon with a tree and a sun. In my drawing, I did actually have a singular tree just there. But this is just the beginning. This was just me sort of thinking, what would somebody think when they come? Now, the fact that you've gone for a horizon with a tree and a sunshine gives me quite a lot of information about the choices that you might make. So what's going to happen is this. Let me explain to you the game that I've been playing with my kids throughout the times that we've had to do homeschooling. So in order for them to, I'm quite into creativity. So what we did was, I've got another pad just here. It's got a whole bunch of drawings within it. Now there's about 30 drawings inside here, okay? And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to choose a number. Now, what we would do with my kids is I'd ask them to choose a number. Whatever number they chose, we would then go to that page and they'd either have to draw their version of whatever it was that was at that number, or they would have to spell it. It was just a really simple game. And it was a lot of fun for them. They either got to be creative or they got to spell, one or the other. And it was a really good way to sort of go through the homeschooling. So the fact that you drew a tree, horizon, and a sunshine means that I think I know which picture you're going to end up on. Okay, so I'm going to draw something down here. And I'm going to place this back here. Actually, let's bring this in. Let's bring this into play. Bring this into play just here. So that's going to stay in view the entire time. There's the pad. There are 30 drawings inside here, okay? Your job is to choose any number that you want. Obviously, you don't go for number 1 because we've seen what number 1 is. But choose any number that you want. Don't say the number just yet, but do you have a number in your mind?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Eileen's written down 16. Was it 16?
No.
Okay, Eileen, you're not psychic. That number that you now have in your mind, though, what I want you to do is to change your mind. In case you've gone for a really obvious number or a psychologically easy to influence number, so that we end up it being random. You can change your mind a couple of times, but when you're happy with the number that you have chosen, tell me what that number is.
So you want me to change my initial thoughts, my initial number?
Initial thoughts, or it's entirely up to you. If you really feel that that is a completely free and fair choice, then you can stick with that number that you're currently on.
Okay, I'm changing it.
You are changing it. And what are you going to change it to?
Can I tell you?
Yes.
Okay, it's 17.
17.
Yes.
Okay, so Eileen thought 16. She was off by 1, but you've ended up on 17. So check this out. Number 1 was a boat. Number 2 was a picture of a pig. 4, I'm going to go quite quick. 4 was a spider. 6 was a pencil. 8 was a set of cherries. 11's come up a couple of times. We've got 9 was a donut. 10 was a butterfly. 11 was another tree. So Angela and Nina, you went for, you would have had a tree if we had ended up there. You said 17, wasn't it?
Yes.
17, check this out. 12 was a piece of watermelon. 13 was a snail. 14 was a bird. 15 was a book. 16 was a snake. Eileen, you would have had a snake, but you went for 17, okay? And on page 17, we have the picture of a flower. Flower at page 17. Now, as I've gone through, you would have seen that all those drawings there are completely different. I told you that I would predict the choices that you would make, and I'd be able to identify which drawing you would land on. And it was, in actual fact,
that is amazing.
The flower. It is a perfect match. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll tell you what, because it takes so long to get people up and down, would you mind?
I do have someone. I do have a brave.
You do have someone. Okay, fantastic, Jackie.
Thank
you so much for helping out there. And let's bring the next person up. Who do we have? Who do we have?
This is Rachel.
Rachel, hi there. How are you doing?
1 second.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Well, thank you for volunteering, Rachel. It seems that everybody's got a little bit camera shy this morning. Now, Rachel, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but you'll notice that behind me here is a very simple mathematical sum. And Rachel, what I'd like you to do is to very quickly, because I've heard that you'd probably be quite good with numbers, is I'd like you to very quickly add those up for me, Rachel. Okay, Rachel, you don't actually have to do that. I am actually only joking, and sorry to put you on the spot. If you were to add these up, you would find that the answer is
3,082.
Rachel, you are amazing. That was amazing. Yeah. Were you cheating and using a calculator, or was that done in your head?
My head, of course. Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, yeah. As a mentalist, I can tell when you're lying. Yeah. Okay, Rachel. What's important, though, is these numbers here. These numbers here, I've chosen them for a very specific reason, in that these numbers here, you're going to create your own new number using these numbers that are here on the screen. Now, everybody else that is watching, what I'd like you to do is I'd like to get you to get your calculators ready. and Rachel is going to make all of the decisions. So Rachel, you make the decisions. Everybody else, you're going to get your calculators ready because you're going to do the addition at the end. What I'm going to do, though, Rachel, is I am going to write down the number. Teresa's put 4 is missing. Yes, 4 is missing. And there is a very important reason for 4 being missing, because what I'm doing here is I'm playing a psychological game with you, Rachel. These numbers have been chosen very specifically. Okay. I'm going to write down what I think the choices that you are going to make. And I'm going to write this down here, and I'm going to leave it in view. Now, I've kind of told you that I am trying to influence your choices. So I'm going to place this just there. That should stay. Yep, that stayed in view. Perfect. So there's something written down on the other side of this pad here. So Rachel, the way that you're going to do this is you've got a 9, a 3, and a 5. If you were to choose one of those numbers, which is the one that you would go for, the 9, the 3, or the 5?
I've got one. Would you like me to tell you?
Yeah, yep. Say that loud. You're going to make a number of choices, so nice and fast.
Yep. Number 5.
Number 5. So I'm going to eliminate the 5 and put the 5 over here. You've got a 6, a 1, and a 2.
Number 6, please.
Number 6. You've gone from the end to the beginning. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. The 2, the 7, the 9. Now, I would expect you to probably go in the middle.
Number 9, please.
Number 9. So you've decided to go against what I said and go for the number 9, which is back at the end. So now you're following a bit of a pattern. You've got end, beginning, end. So you've got a 3, an 8, a 9.
Number 8, thank you.
Number 8, which is a classic example of what most people would do to break that pattern after I've highlighted the pattern. Then we've got an 8, 6, an 8, a 6, and a 7. Which one of those would you use?
Definitely number 6, please.
Definitely number 6. Okay, because you really don't want to keep in any sort of pattern, but you are actually falling into some sort of strange pattern. So 5, 6, 9, 8, 6. There is no way that I could have known that you would choose those numbers in that order, is there?
I wouldn't have thought so.
You wouldn't have thought so. Well, look, Rachel, we're going to make this even more random. You've got a 9 and a 3 left. Which one of those do you want to use first?
3, thank you.
The number 3. So you're going for the center this time. Perfect. Exactly what. Number 1. So we're going straight down the middle here. A 3, a 1, which we've got a 2 and a 7.
2, thank you.
Number 2. So we're changing that pattern again.
Then number 9.
Okay,
number 9, thank you.
Number 9.
And then number 8.
Okay, you're racing ahead of me now. So there's no way that I could have known that you would choose those numbers either. Apparently not. But what it does leave us with is the 9, the 2, the 7, the 3, and the 7. So what I'd like you all to do now is add this up for me. So 5, 6, 9, 8, 6, plus 3, 1, 2, 9, 8, plus 9, 2, 7, 3, 7. Write it into the comment box what the answer is. Now, it should be quite a big number. This is really random now. And this is the reason why we had so many numbers there. The reason the numbers are written in a certain order for a very particular reason. So, okay, this perfect. That looks, well, everyone's typing in the same sort of thing. So 1, 8, 1, 0, 1, 8, 1, 0, 2, 1. Check this out. Rachel, you could have chosen those numbers in any order, but you chose them in this order, which meant that when they were added up, they ended up to 181021. I said that I wrote something down beforehand, and it was a prediction as to what I thought would happen. The choices that you would make. Rachel, are you going to be impressed if on the other side of this pad is written down 181021? Fingers crossed. I like it. Fingers crossed. Here we go. 181021. And I wrote down function. Which
a little different.
It is a little different, but it's not that different because this is actually binary code for 181021, or should I say, sorry, that the binary is code for function. And you're probably thinking, what a load of rubbish. Let me tell you this. Before we started today, I grabbed hold of the Oxford Schools Dictionary. You'll notice that I've marked out a page here. If we were to take this, at page 181, if we were to look at the second column and look at the first entry on that page, I'm going to try and get this to come up to the camera here. I did have another camera set up ready to go. But if I go up there, you'll see that we are on page Hopefully it's going to zoom. It's going to focus in. Is that focusing in or not?
Oh,
That's
yes,
better. Hold
181.
it there. Yep.
181.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Check this out. Second column being this one here. The first entry. Can you see that clearly on your screens? It is the word function. You actually managed to get the number, the exact page in the book to the exact word which had been predicted ahead of time. Give Rachel a massive, massive, massive round of applause. Rachel, you're absolutely amazing. Thank you so, so, so much for coming up here and helping out. And Jackie, I know that I'm putting you on the spot again. Have we got anybody else who wants to jump up? We got clapping, fantastic, awesome. You're all getting super excited. I know that we started off to a glitchy start, but I feel that we're now off and running. So,
yeah, I might bring Tracy across because
Tracy, hey, here we go. So this is going to be good, Tracy. Tracy, how
Anthony.
How are you doing? Now I know that obviously you introed me and we started out and then we suddenly dropped back off again. But Tracy, I think one thing that's really important here is that we very firmly establish that we didn't set anything up beforehand, did we?
No.
So, because what we're about to do is something which people are going to think might have been set up. So it's really important that everyone knows that we haven't set anything up ahead of time. In actual fact, before we get into that though, Tracy, you and I are going to play two games. We're going to play one that everyone's going to play, but you're going to be sort of like the main person. And then we're going to play a game between me and you. I just want to do a quick calibration to see how you're thinking at the moment before we bring in the next game. So the game is very simple. And this is more of an observation test than anything else. This just tells me...
Thanks, Jackie.
No, this is good. And this is for everybody else as well. So before I got into the world of mentalism, I got into the world of magic. And this was one of the things that I used to do to sort of, when I'd have to go from table to table, it's one of the things that I would do to see who was paying attention. And that's the person that I would then usually use for one of the routines that I was going to do. It would sort of show me who was going to mess me up and that kind of thing, who was going to try and outthink me. It was also a really good way to test to see if people have been drinking. Not that I'm using that on you this morning, Tracy.
Everyone who knows me knows that I don't drink, Anthony.
Okay, we're good then. You should be perfect at this game then, Tracy. So it's a very simple game. And I want you all to play along with me. It's a silver cup and a red ball. Okay? So all that's going to happen is I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to put it into my pocket. You've got to say if you think the ball is in my pocket or whether I've got it back underneath the cup. It's as simple as that. And I want you all to play along with me at home as well, or wherever you're watching from. And it's very simple. You don't have to write in cup or pocket. You're just going to put C or P, depending upon whereabouts you think this ball is. Okay, now this is an observation test. This involves misdirection. Yes, it is a trick of the eyes. I'm going to try and move quicker than your eyes can possibly see. So it's a very simple game. I take the ball goes into the cup, I give it a shake so that you can hear it. I then take the ball, I put it into my pocket, and you have to say if it's in the pocket or whether it's underneath the cup. What do you think? Pocket or cup?
Cup.
Tracy, you're going to say cup. It is actually here in the pocket. Okay, I haven't actually started just yet. It's not until I do this. I take it out invisibly. Okay, I give it a squeeze and it goes all the way down through, and actually not yet. It arrives back underneath. Okay. We will do it again. Okay, so I take the ball. The ball goes back to the pocket. So it's either in the pocket or it's underneath the cup. What do you think? Pocket or cup?
Pocket.
Pocket. No, it is actually underneath the cup. I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, Tracy, I'm going to show you how I do it. What I do is this. I take the ball at my fingertips. I go like this. So you watch this hand go back here. So right now, you think that the ball might be back there, but I really keep it in that hand. Okay, so every time I do this, you watch this hand go back here and you think it's back in the pocket, but it gives me all the time that I need to take this ball and I sneak it straight underneath the cup. And that's exactly how I do it, you see. But Tracy, at this point in time, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that Anthony cheats a little bit. I do cheat. I cheat a lot in this game, to be honest, because I use more than one ball, as you can quite clearly see. I use this red one, I use this yellow one, and just in case I lose this one, I also keep another one in there just in case. Tracy, thank you so much for playing that game. But look, now that I've got your eyes warmed up and I've got your brain warmed up, you might have noticed at the back of the room here, there have been these bags throughout the entire presentation. So you and I are going to play a game now, Tracy. Now, this is the one that's really important that we sort of establish. We haven't set anything up ahead of time. You've got no idea what I'm about to do with these bags, have you?
No, I don't. No idea. I'm worried about.
Is there a rabbit underneath the cup? Well, I told you earlier on, I live up in Queensland, so there's definitely no rabbit. I'd get fined quite heavily if there was a rabbit underneath the cup. Now, so there's 4 bags here, and all these bags, they should look relatively identical through the camera. What I've done is I put a weight in all of them, and the weight is so that when I pick them up, they should look sort of similar-ish in the fact that they look a little bit heavy. The difference being is this one here at the end has got the weight. Let me show you what the weight is. So the weight is this block of wood. This one's got a hole in it that's going to put this nail through. Okay. So Tracy, I'm going to place this nail through this block like so, turning it into one of those quite prehistoric receipt holders. This is the thing, Tracy. I'm going to place this nail inside this bag just here, making sure I don't stab myself in the hand as I do it. And the game is this. In a moment, I'm going to mix up these bags so that only I know which bag contains the nail. Tracy, I'm then going to ask you to choose 3 of these bags. The 3 bags that you choose, we're going to eliminate. We're going to eliminate them by me slamming my hand down on them as hard as I can. It's exciting, isn't it, Tracy? Now,
I'm glad it's you, Anthony. Thank God the camera doesn't work that I have to do it.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing. I promise you 100% that inside one of these bags there is a nail. The second thing that I promise you is whichever bag you say is the bag that I will slam my hand down onto. Okay? I will do as much as I can to make sure that the internet doesn't drop out halfway through. And every single choice that you make, I will follow that choice. But very, very important that we clear up. Whichever bag you say is the one that I will slam my hand down onto. Now, in order to mix these up, we're going to go a little bit of a sort of roulette style here. And I'm going to put them on this spinny disc, like so. And I'm going to give them a spin so that you do not know which one is which anymore. So we place this in front for a second. Now, the other thing I can promise you is, I mean, you can still see the top of the bags popping in and out there. So you know that they're not being switched or anything like that. I'm going to spin them around. And obviously I know which one of them spun around a little bit. Here we go. Obviously I know which one is the loaded one. There is a very discreet marking which you cannot see on camera. But I promise you, whichever bag you say is the bag that I will slam my hand down onto. So let's place these like so. How are you feeling, Tracy?
Sick.
If you feel sick, Tracy, just think how I feel.
Can I ask if you've got insurance and a Band-Aid ready, Anthony?
I have a Band-Aid, but no insurance. It doesn't cover me for these things, apparently. Apparently it's my own fault.
Jackie, we didn't sign a waiver for this.
We'll be fine here. So, Tracy.
Oh, God.
You can see that I've now numbered them 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to choose one in a moment. It's entirely up to you. Which one you choose is a completely free choice. Don't let me influence you in any way, shape, or form. Tracy, which bag would you like me to slam my hand on first? Choose one for me now.
3.
3. Okay. Tracy, what I actually did throughout that whole process, I said it's entirely up to you which one you choose. I put quite a lot of emphasis on the number 1 throughout that process. It made 1 quite obvious. So I kind of eliminated it. One thing that I did do, which you might have picked up on, you might not have picked up on, was I said it's entirely up to you. It's completely free choice. And I actually put my hand up with 3. You've gone straight for bag number 3. You've fallen into my trap. So if you'd like to, Tracy, you can change your mind, or you can stick with the choice that you've made, knowing that I made you make that choice. It's entirely up to you.
No, I'm going to stick with it.
You're going to stick with it. So number 3.
Yep.
Here we go. Let me move these ones to one side for a moment. So number 3, I will count to 3 and I will slam my hand down. 1, 2. Tracy, make sure you're watching.
Yes.
Your choice. No closing your eyes. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Bag number 1 out of the mix. So let's get rid of the numbers. Let's not do this with numbers. Tracy, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Red. Okay, we're not going to use red. Hopefully we won't see any red either.
That's what I'm worried about.
So we've got, let's go for yellow. Yeah, yellow, blue, green. So yellow, blue, green. Yellow, blue, green. Which color would you like me to squash? Yellow, blue, or green?
Yellow.
Yellow. It's this one
Yellow.
here. I think Eleanor is a bit of a skeptic there. There is a nail, but it's not standing. If let me tell you this. So this one here, yes, yellow.
Yellow.
Let's eliminate this one, and then I want to tell you just a quick little thing. So let's get rid of this one here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now Ellen is sort of saying there is a nail, but it's not standing. I'm not going to encourage you to do this. I'm not going to encourage you to do this. But if you were to go onto Googly and you were to type in magic tricks gone wrong, there was a guy that performed this trick on Polish TV. It was live TV, and he used the presenter's hand to do it. And if you want to know whether there's a nail that is or isn't standing, I can't watch it, especially because I perform it. I can't watch it, but it goes wrong for him. Or should I say it goes wrong for the TV presenter. And he actually, on live TV, he spiked her hand. So, Tracy, now that you know that, there's a 50-50 chance that's about to happen to me.
Okay.
So no pressure on you, Tracy, but what I'd like you to do is
none at all.
I'd like you to name 2 either famous people or celebrities or notable figures, somebody that most of us would know, that you're not particularly too fond of. So maybe you watched a film and this celebrity wasn't a very good actor or actress in it, but 2 famous people, 2 celebrities, 2 notable figures that you're not particularly too keen on.
Oh, gosh. I'm not going to get into politics, but I'd say I'll stay away.
Can't say Dan Andrews.
Oh, that's a bit challenging, Anthony.
2 celebrities. What was a film that maybe you've watched during lockdown that you just weren't particularly too fond of, and who was the famous person in that film?
Mel Gibson.
So Mel Gibson. I'm going to do this one as Mel Gibson, and then tell me the name of a pop singer who you're not particularly too keen on. You didn't like their music. Nothing against them. You just don't like their music.
Oh, who don't I like? Any heavy metal I don't like.
Christina's put down Trump. You can have Trump if you want.
Yes, that'll be all right.
Okay. Mel Gibson here, and if I'd known that you were going to go for Trump, then I would have used orange bags. Okay. So Mel Gibson, and this one is Trump.
Right.
Which one of these 2 people would you like me to squash?
Oh.
Just in a bag form, obviously not real. Mel Gibson or Trump? Who am I going to take out of the game?
Trump.
Trump. So we're getting rid of Trump,
Yep.
which is this one here.
Yep.
Are you 100% happy with that choice, Tracy?
As long as you don't tell my husband.
All right, secret.
I'm taking Trump.
What happens online stays online.
Stays
okay,
online.
Here we go. Trump is out of the game. 1. You have to watch. You have to
I'm
watch.
watching.
1, 2, 3, leaving just 1 bag. Now I know that there was a comment up that said there isn't a nail and it's laying down. Check this out. If I reach inside there, be careful not to stab myself. If I reach into the bag, there is 1 nail inside the block of wood. It was stood up the entire time. Thank you so much, Tracy, for helping out. Thank you for not getting me stabbed. Oh, that was a tense situation then, not just for Tracy, but also for myself. Guys, you've been absolutely fantastic. Now, before I go, I want to leave you with just this idea, because this morning was all about having fun, a bit of entertainment, and the one thing that I think that we all need to keep in mind, and this is a little rule that I live by, and it's a rule that I live by when I came online this morning just to speak to you guys, even when the technology went south and I quickly had to reset the computer and come back on again, this is still something that plays at the back of my mind. And it's the way that I go about each and every single day. And that is that every single person that you meet, whether that's online, whether that's face-to-face, every single person that you interact with throughout a day didn't wake up that morning saying, I hope I have a really bad day. A person that you meet or you jump on the phone with, they didn't jump on the phone going, I hope that this phone call is really rubbish. I hope this person really annoys me. Every single person that you meet wants to have a really good day. And when I came into this session this morning, I had that in mind. There's not one of you that turned up and said, I hope Anthony's really rubbish. I hope he's really boring. You guys wanted it to be entertaining. And so I approach every single interaction with that in mind. If I can make somebody smile, if I can bring a positive energy towards that person, if I can just add a little moment of sunshine, a little moment of joy to somebody's day, then that's a powerful thing that you can do. And with the way that everything is at the moment around the world, just looking for moments to add that touch of joy, that sense of wonder, that little smile to somebody's day is such a powerful, powerful thing. So while this was all about entertainment, it is also about creating those moments for people. Go about your day thinking there is not one person that woke up this morning wanting to have a bad day. Everybody wants to have a good day. And the one final thing that I want to share with you. Now, I said to you at the beginning that this was all about influence, and it was maybe about intuition. There's one thing that happened, and a couple of you have twigged onto this already. There is one thing that's happened throughout this presentation that was influenced, but it wasn't influenced by me. It was influenced by the situation. It was influenced by what is going on right now. You remember earlier on we had Rachel come in, and Rachel chose a whole bunch of numbers, and we ended up with 181021. That wasn't influenced by me. That was something which was inevitable. It was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. You just didn't know it was going to happen because you didn't know what I was actually going to do, but you knew that it would be that answer. You see, because if we were to put a line here, and some of you picked up on this already, it is actually the 18th of the 10th, 2021. Rachel actually managed to get today's date. Guys, you've been absolutely fantastic. I believe that I might be seeing you live and in person next year, which I'm so excited about. So guys, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for playing out and bringing the energy into the chat box there. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I'm Anthony Lay, and remember, I know what you're thinking. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Anthony, as scary as that was. And I was hoping that there was going to be no insurance and a red colour come out of that hand when you hit those bags. But thank you very much. And I think everyone, that's probably just going to be a taste of what we're going to be looking forward to next year for our conference. So I can't wait to see Anthony next year. So it's my pleasure now to introduce Bronwyn again to close our AGM. And thank you very much. And I'd just personally like to say before we go, a fantastic thank you to Jane and Gabe again for all of their work. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to have been on committee with you for all of these years. And I wish you both all the best. And thank you so much for everything you've done for our association, and particularly for our professional learning over the last, I don't know how many years, but thank you very much.
Hi everyone, thank you Tracy. I hope you enjoyed that light-hearted entertainment of mind games. It was meant to be a laugh and a bit of fun, but got a bit stressful there for Tracy in the end. So just a couple more thank yous. Thank you to Tanya for our presentation today, and to Ali. I hope you got some useful tips and tricks and some upcoming information out of that. This session has been recorded, so if you wanted to come have a look, or those that you may have missed, log in and have a look. And finally, a big thank you to Jackie. This is so hard to put this sort of presentation together. I'm just glad it was none of our committee that dropped out that we were having the AGM. And I thank all our members for your support today. I know it's been a tough term, and I know there's schools struggling out there today. I'm personally in quarantine, living with a positive partner and positive grandchildren, and the school that my grandchildren go to have been absolutely amazing, as I know all schools will be as they work through term 4. So if you need anything, just contact anyone on the committee. We're all here to help you, and I wish you a safe and almost happy term 4, and find some joy in your day. There's some laughs to be had. We've got things to look forward to in Melbourne in a couple of weeks. So please take care, and we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.